Good. So, just a quick question: where have you traveled to? From where have you traveled from for the conference today?
Yeah, so I flew in from Calgary, and I work at ThoughtWorks out of the Calgary office there.
Right. Okay. So not too far to travel.
No.
No, not too bad of a jet lag or anything.
No, I came in yesterday, Tuesday, right in the morning. So actually, like, flew right into the conference, and then the whole
Perfect.
day.
Ready to go. Good. So I wanted to find out a little bit about you. Sort of tell me your story. How did you get involved in Agile?
Sure, it could be a long story. We only have 10 minutes. I was first involved in Agile when I was a graduate student at the University of Calgary. They had a software engineering graduate program, studying Agile
Okay.
in an academic way. But I also kind of had some exposure to the Agile Alliance, and I actually ended up going to like one of the first Agile conferences in like 2004, 2005. So that was kind of when I got involved, back in the really early days, right after Ken Beck's book had come out. And then I've sort of stayed involved in Agile since then.
Okay.
And of course, ThoughtWorks is like one of like the Agile companies. So being at ThoughtWorks, it's hard to not be involved in Agile.
Exactly. Exactly. Good. And why did you choose the topic that you did for the conference?
I think that we heard this from the keynote I think yesterday and sort of throughout the conference. Agile is no longer just about early adopters, right? It's crossed the chasm. Mainstream companies are using it. It's almost the default. It's almost like what people just do, and it's no longer agile software development. It's just software development. Like that's just the way you do software development now. It's become so accepted, and I think that so my talk was on how cloud computing can make a business more agile, and I think I wanted to pick something that was more in the early adopter side, right? So some peripheral issue that's new and upcoming, and how does that involve Agile? How is it similar to Agile? Cloud computing is one area like that I'm really interested in, so that's why I picked it.
Good. Okay. Now, obviously, a lot of people are talking about the topic of the conference, elephants in the room.
Yeah.
What's an elephant that you've sort of seen in your world?
For sure. Well, I mean, there are a few that sort of tie into my talk. I think cloud computing is really changing the industry, and so obviously in itself that technology and that momentum behind it is a big elephant. And I don't actually see a lot of people talking about how how Agile applies, or doesn't apply, or needs to adapt to that change in our industry. I also think there are a lot of sort of these new movements. So there's things like the DevOps movement, which is really aligned really well with cloud. There's a DevOps movement. There's a lean startup movement, right? And they're much earlier stage than Agile. They're sort of these new things. Enterprise companies are staying away. Young companies are getting excited. Where Agile was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And so I think for Agile, that's an elephant in the room. Like, okay, who are these new movements? Are they just selling the same thing again? Do they have new ideas? Do we want to, really bring them into the fold? Is it Agile, or is it something different? Do we need to fight against them? Are they doing things wrong? And so I think that's really, really important. And we have seen a lot of talks. There was a DevOps talk today, right? Same kind of thing. Like, what's this DevOps thing? Is it Agile?
Yeah. Okay. And either whether it's related to that specific elephant, or whether using another example, what's sort of a success story that you've come across with regards to the elephant in the room?
Yeah, I think almost any company that says they're doing DevOps or they're on the cloud, they're probably an Agile success story. Like, I almost think Agile is more of like the starting point, or some of the fundamentals. Make sure you can actually deliver some working software. Once you've got that more or less down, now you can look ahead to, okay, well, I have an operations team that isn't working well with my development team, or I have this problem of scaling my infrastructure or something like that. I'm going to look to cloud computing. So, once you've got Agile working, then you can broaden your mind into other business problems. For me personally, I think the fact that ThoughtWorks is seeing a lot of business, helping people with DevOps and cloud computing, and we're the Agile guys. I mean, like, we're one of the biggest Agile consulting companies. Is a huge success for Agile. Like, we're all the customers that came to us 10 years ago, they're all happy 10 years later with where Agile's gotten them. And now they're looking to open new horizons. So I think that's really good. And then before I've been at ThoughtWorks, I worked with a lot of startup companies, and I was CTO at a startup company in Calgary for about 3 years, and same sort of thing happened. We started off getting the dev team to do Agile practices, iterative releases, test coverage, sort of the things that we've been talking about in Agile for 10 years or so. Yeah. And once we felt really comfortable and we kind of had a rhythm and had that success, we started, okay, now we're going to move all of our software onto the cloud. What's that going to do? How's it going to disrupt our finely tuned, well-oiled machine, right? Is it going to throw a monkey wrench in? And it does. Like, at the startup I was at, moving onto the cloud was a big deal. We had a lot of extra things we never thought about, right? That came up because of that. And we started getting interested in DevOps and things like that. So, just to summarize, any company that I think is interested in DevOps or interested in cloud or interested in some of these other new things, lean startup, they've probably already succeeded with Agile, or they wouldn't even be looking
in a position to do that.
Right, they would be still worrying about how do they get a release out the door, right? Yeah.
Super, good. Cool. Well, that was it.
That
was my question.
That's very short.
I know. Short and sweet to try and get through everybody over the weekend.
Okay, well, I hope it helps you.
Very much. Thank you very much.
That's my pleasure.
Good.